Dear students, today we are going to discuss the remaining part of the poem written by Kamala Das entitled The Sunshine Cat. So far in the poem, we saw that Kamala Das is very frustrated in her married life. She is always in search of love, support, and care. She expected these things from her husband after marriage. But as we know that her husband used her as just a sex doll, means her presence is in the house is just for sexual purpose. Kamala Das offered her body to her husband and expected what? She expected love and care. But she received rejection and ignorance from her husband. So whenever her husband wanted sex, he comes near to her. He touches her. But after the sex is over, we don't find any kind of love bonding between them. So frustrated Kamala Das went out of the house in search of true love. She developed many extramarital affairs with other men. She offered her body to them, but again she received same type of treatment like her husband from the other men. So she is very much frustrated and in deep sorrow. She complains that all the men in the world are having the same attitude towards a woman, that is sex oriented. And she complains that her desire of love, care, support means the basic feelings of a human are no more. She was frustrated, right? So nobody in the world with whom she can share her sorrow, right? So she's suffering from loneliness. Nobody is there, and she's sitting silently in her flat in some city. She's suffering from loneliness, frustration, right? And she's in bad mentality, isn't it? So she says that she is away from sanity. Right? So her mental condition is not normal. Is it? So we can imagine the psychological pressure on Kamala. Let's move towards the remaining part of the poem. The remaining part of the poem offers more and more frustration to the readers, and she opens her mind once again and she starts crying. What she tells us that a bed made soft with tears. Now she is weeping, she is crying, she is shedding tears, and nobody is there to wipe the tears from her eyes. So sharing is not possible over there. So she is suffering from loneliness. And who is her friend? That is poetry. So she is expressing herself in the words in the form of poem. And she lay there weeping. She's crying, crying, crying. Nobody is paying attention towards her. For sleep had lost its use. See, as she is having disturbed mentality, so she cannot sleep. She is weeping a lot. And because of that weeping, because of that disturbed mindset, she is not able to sleep properly. I shall build walls with tears. See how she is using the words over here. Walls with tears means she is alienated. She is so lonely that she has created a very isolated world in her mind. isolated. Nobody is there to share her feelings. Nobody is there to console her, to support her, isn't it? So she says that I would lock herself in the house. I would lock herself in the four walls built with tears. See, walls with tears, isn't it? So we can imagine the mental setup of the poet over here. She's very frustrated, she's weeping. She said, walls to shut me in, and she desires to lock herself, shut herself within the walls of tears. She is in very bad condition. Her husband shut her in every morning. See what kind of treatment her husband is giving to her. First thing, she is used as a sex doll by her husband. And the second cruel thing that husband does, that he locks her in the house. It may be possible that he is not having a trust in the poet. It may be possible that her husband might have knowledge of her extramarital affairs. Right? So we can guess the cruel treatment given by the husband to the poet. As you know that if we imagine that her husband learns her affairs out of the house, that's why that he is locking herself in the house. But on the other hand, we can say that who is to be blamed? And the obvious answer is her husband. If her husband had provided Kamala Das love, care, and support, there would have been no need to go out of the house in search of the same love. Means if the husband had supported her, then there would have no need to develop extramarital affairs. But on the other hand, the husband locks herself in the house and he is not interested to wipe the tears of his wife, that is Kamala Das, isn't it? So he is very cruel, and that's why Kamala Das is frustrated in her married life. She is lonely, locked in her in a room of books. So in the room there are books, and the husband expects that she could read those books. But as we know, that Kamala Das does not need books. She needs support from some human, right? Support from a person. And that support cannot be offered by the books, isn't it? And that's why she's not interested in reading the books. With a streak of sunshine lying near the door, like a yellow cat to keep her company. Streak of sunshine, streak. A flow of sunshine is coming over there near the door. सूर्यप्रकाशाचा एक झोत तिथे येतो आहे. दरवाजाजवळ तो झोत पडलेला आहे. Streak of sunshine. Like a yellow cat, as we know that the color of the sunshine is yellow, isn't it? And she imagines that the yellowness of that sunshine, right? She can imagine of a yellow cat to keep her company. See, so the only company she is having in that room is the sunshine only. The sunshine only. आणि तिच्या सोबत कोण आहे फक्त त्या रूम मध्ये तर येणारा सूर्यप्रकाश. आणि हा दरवाजाच्या जवळ जो सूर्यप्रकाश पडतो आहे त्यामध्ये तिला एका पिवळ्या रंगाची कॅट म्हणजेच मांजर सुद्धा दिसते. पिवळ्या रंगाची मांजर म्हणजेच काय? शी इज इमॅजिनिंग, राईट? कोणतरी आहे त्या रूम मध्ये. So she cannot express herself properly over here. But soon winter came, and one day while locking her in, he noticed that the cat of sunshine was only a line, a half thin line, and in the evening when he returned to take her out, she was a cold and half-dead woman, now of no use at all to man. See, the ending of the poem is very horrible. The ending of the poem is very horrible. What happens? She says that winter came over there, and one day when her husband locking her, he noticed that the cat of sunshine was just only a line. सूर्यप्रकाश म्हणजे काहीच नाहीये, फक्त सूर्याचं सूर्यप्रकाशाची लाईन तिथे त्याला दिसते. हाफ ए थिन लाईन, थिन. ती लाईन सुद्धा कशी आहे आता पुसट आहे. It's not dark. And in the evening, right? See, sunshine of the morning and evening, right? Can you guess the meaning over here? So her husband used to lock her up in the house right in the morning. And what is the returning time of the husband? That is evening. तिचा नवरा तिला सकाळी घराच्या बाहेर निघताना लॉक करून जातो आणि तिचा नवरा पुन्हा वापस केव्हा येतो घरी तर संध्याकाळी, इव्हिनिंग. म्हणजे पूर्ण दिवस ही कमला दास ही कवी त्या घरामध्ये लॉक असते, त्यासारखी बसलेली असते. Nobody is there, isn't it? So isn't it so cruel? अतिशय अन्याय तिच्यावर झालेला आपला दिसतो. आणि कवी काय म्हणते, सकाळी माझा नवरा जेव्हा मला लॉक करून जातोय तर त्याला काय दिसलंय, नोटीस दॅट कॅट ऑफ सनशाईन वॉज ओनली जस्ट अ लाईन. सकाळचा सूर्यप्रकाश, तो प्रकाश झोत जो आहे, स्ट्रीम ऑफ सनशाईन, तो संध्याकाळी तसाच राहणार आहे का, नाही. सकाळचा सूर्यप्रकाश आणि संध्याकाळचा सूर्यप्रकाश मध्ये फरक आहे. संध्याकाळी काय आहे तर हाफ थिन लाईन, सूर्यप्रकाश हळूहळू हळू कमी होत जातो. Can we call this sunshine as a ray of hope? Right? आपण जर अर्थ काढला तर हा सनशाईन म्हणजेच काय, एक होप आहे कवीच्या मनामध्ये. काहीतरी परिस्थिती बदलेल कदाचित, पण तसं होत नाही. So each morning the sunshine of the morning comes with a hope that the situation would be changed. But what happens in the evening? That the yellowness of that sunshine becomes dim. आणि संध्याकाळच्या उन्हामध्ये काय होतं, त्यातला जो पिवळेपणा आहे तो काय होतो, कमी होतो, डिम होतं, डिक्रीज. म्हणजे जसं जसं त्या सूर्यप्रकाशाचा पिवळसरपणा कमी होतो तसंच तिच्या मनातली होप, आशा ती सुद्धा धुसर होते. तिला आशा कोणती आहे, दॅट वन डे ऑर द अदर द हजबंड वुड जस्ट एक्नॉलेज हर ॲज अ ह्युमन बीइंग. आज न उद्या त्या नवऱ्याला दया येईल आणि मी सुद्धा एक माणूस आहे असा विचार त्याच्या मनामध्ये येईल, पण तसं काही होत नाही. Right? And what happens? See the last 2 or 3 lines. So last 2 or 3 lines are very shocking. See, when the evening that husband returns to the home and opens the lock, what he witnesses that she was cold and half dead woman. Cold. It is said that dead body is cold, right? So dead body is without any warmness. मृत शरीर जे असते, डेड बॉडी जी असते, ते अतिशय थंड असते, राईट. आणि ऊब, वॉर्मनेस कुठे असतो तर जिवंत माणसाच्या शरीरामध्ये असते, राईट. She was cold and half dead woman. She is using the word half, right? Half dead का म्हणता येईल, because she is just dead in her heart, dead in her heart. तिचं मन मेलेलं आहे एक प्रकारे, तिच्या आशा अपेक्षा मेलेल्या आहेत. So she is having a woman without any desire, without any aspiration, without any expectation, isn't it? तिचा फक्त श्वास चालू आहे आणि तिचं आयुष्य म्हणजे आयुष्य नाहीये तर काय आहे, इट इज जस्ट लाईक अ नाईटमेअर, एक वाईट स्वप्न, नाईटमेअर. That's why she is calling herself half dead woman. As you know that if our desires are dead, automatically we don't have any interest in our life. The same situation is there in the point. आपल्याही मनामध्ये जर इच्छा अपेक्षा आकांक्षा जर मिळल्या तर काय होईल, आपल्याला आयुष्य जगण्याची इच्छा होणार नाही. दॅट्स व्हाय वी कमिट सुसाईड. आणि माणूस आत्महत्या काय करतो, याच गोष्टीमुळे करतो. कोणत्या गोष्टीमुळे, की मला कोणाकडून काही मिळत नाहीये, सपोर्ट नाहीये, प्रेम नाहीये, राईट, एकांतवास आहे, माझ्या मनामधल्या इच्छा आकांक्षा मेलेल्या आहेत, राईट, त्या पूर्ण होऊ शकत नाही. आणि असं आयुष्य जगून उपयोग काय, असा माणसाच्या मनामध्ये विचार येतो. तर दोनच गोष्टी घडतात, एक तर तो माणूस वेडा होतो किंवा ती व्यक्ती आत्महत्या करते, राईट. आत्महत्या हा शब्द काही कवितेत वापरत नाहीये, राईट. शी इज नॉट युजिंग द वर्ड सुसाइड ओव्हर हियर, but she is calling herself as a half dead woman. ती काय आहे, जवळपास मेलीच आहे, फक्त श्वास चालू आहे, एवढा फक्त फरक आहे. मनामध्ये सगळ्या भावना मेलेल्या आहेत. शी इज डेड इन हर हार्ट, दॅट्स द पॉइंट इज ट्राइंग टू से. तिचं मन मेलेलं आहे, इच्छा मेलेल्या आहेत, राईट. आणि तिच्या नवऱ्याकडून तिला कोणत्याही इच्छा आता शिल्लक नाही. So she was cold. एका डेड बॉडी प्रमाणे तिचं शरीर कसं आहे, थंडगार पडलेलं आहे. नो ऍस्पिरेशन, नो विश, नो डिझायर्स, नो डिमांड्स, नो एक्सपेक्टेशन्स, नथिंग. Half dead woman, now of no use at all to men. Now of no use. आणि ही स्त्री कशी झाली आता, ती कोणत्याच कामाची राहिलेली नाही. कोणत्याच कामाची इन द सेन्स, ॲज हर हार्ट इज डेड, isn't it? She is of no use to anybody in the world. स्वतःच स्वतःला अर्धमेली म्हणते, तर अशी स्त्री दुसऱ्यांच्या कोणत्या कामात येणार आहे. We can say that her husband is torturing her systematically. तिचा नवरा हा तिला अतिशय क्रूरपणे सिस्टमॅटिकली त्रास देतोय. आणि ही कमला दास, just like a typical Indian woman, is tolerating all these injustice. आणि एखाद्या सती सावित्री सारखीच भारतीय स्त्री आपल्याला दिसते, की हा सगळा अत्याचार अन्याय सहन करते, त्याबद्दल एकही शब्द ती काढत नाही. पण तिचं मन ती कुठे व्यक्त करते, right, in the poem, right. So she is half dead. So the last line of the poem is very disturbing. So she loved, who loved her not enough. So she wanted spiritual satisfaction and emotional touch. We discussed all those lines over here, right. You people have the slide of this in the Google Classroom, right. We discussed all these lines and also try to elaborate the meaning of the lines, right. See the last section of the poem, last stanza. She had finally realized that all her self-styled loves were silence, having no love for her. So no other person in the world can love her. That was her frustration and disillusionment, and Hamanidas, we can call it. The poem is very disturbing, right from the first word to the last word. Right? Nowhere in the poem we can see the words of hope. The words of hope. She is hopeless, frustrated, suffering from loneliness. Her husband is so cruel that he treated her just like a sex doll. He locks her in the house for the whole day, ignoring the desires of the poet, that is Kamala Das. So she complains that she is building four walls made of tears in her life. She is alienated, she is frustrated, and very much. So this is the end of the poem.